Hello, this is R.W. Russian coming at you live from South Austin. We're here sitting here with Rabbi Robbie David to read his short story called Of Curiosity in Cats. And Rabbi,
Yeah,
you got it. Take it away.
take it away. Thank you, R.W.
Now, what's that title about?
Okay, well, you've heard the old saying, curiosity killed the cat, right?
Right.
And we're not talking about Schrodinger's cat.
Okay.
Talking about curiosity killed the cat. It's an old expression. Now, the English expression is a full sentence. This is only half of it.
Okay.
Want to hear the whole sentence?
Yes.
Curiosity killed the cat. Satisfaction brought him back. It was the end of World War II. The frenzied competition between the Allied and Axis physicists vis-a-vis the creation of a functional nuclear fission device was decided far underground, Potsdam, Sud, Greater Germany. It was January 5th, 1945. The fragrant roses for the winner of that satanic race were presented 2 weeks later after the so-called Allies stubbornly refused to capitulate to the Axis terms of immediate and unconditional surrender. There were 6 amazing explosions spread out over a 12-hour period. They ranged from London, Paris, and Moscow to Manhattan, San Francisco, and Pearl Harbor. The bombing of Pearl Harbor was certainly not a military necessity, but the Fuhrer merely ordered it because the victor of such a prolonged war like that deserves to swagger a little bit. Needless to say, the Allies rather quickly ducked their heads and hurriedly submitted their unconditional surrender to the Thousand-Year Reich on January 20 of 45. It was finally on June 7th, 1967, when the last living Jew in the world was successfully exterminated.
Wow.
Luckenbach, Texas was the map reference to the Waffen SS, and the unsubstantiated rumors report the Jew's first name was Kinky.
Really? Is that
Yes.
what it says?
Boom.
Now I'm following you.
Yeah.
I think you're spoken word, dude.
Yeah, I am. Because of the superior medical advances of the German race, Adolf Hitler lived until the ripe old age of 155. He died in late 2044, within 5 months of the centennial celebrations of Greater Germany's fantastic worldwide victories. Time flies when your thousand-year Reich is going well. Granted, there were hitches, but one supposes that politics, economics, and religion remain slippery and slimy no matter which alternate reality one happens to be in. Being consistent, human nature continued to hum along after the GRC, global regime change. As time progressed, 25 years or so after the death of their Fuhrer, the leaders of Greater Germany decided that it was politically safe to begin displaying all of the collected physical remains of what used to be called Jewish culture in a special Reich Culture Museum. Let's face it, there simply was no Jewish culture anywhere in the Milky Way galaxy. Of course it was safe. Ironically, this building already existed as the Jewish Museum, or Josefov, in Prague. By the summer of 954 Reich years, indeed each year, there was a new Rabbi of the Year to proudly demonstrate just how far the superior and tolerant German intellect had come. It was just then, before the Jewish holiday of Tisha B'Av, that Herr Professor Dr. Michael Gutgluck, Chair and Dean of the Theoretical Physics Department at the Reich University in Berlin, decided to travel to Hamburg. Michael had just received his 18th consecutive award as Rabbi of the Year, and he was quite tickled with himself. He was going to visit Hartmut Hochschuler, his oldest friend, who also happened to be his boss, the High Chancellor of the Reich Intergalactic University System.
Oh my God.
The usual 22-minute trip took only 18 minutes. Michael concluded that this was an auspiciously good omen based on the Kabbalistic interpretation of that number. Muti, he chortled at the rotund, morose gentleman who was 2 years his senior. Of course, Michael was the only person in the Galactic Nazi Empire who could expect to get away with addressing that particular eminent individual in such a familiar and cavalier manner. Hochschuler ducked his head in embarrassment and in the same instant lifted his right arm from the elbow, palm forward, to his friend in the party salute. Sig Heil, Michael. Michael shook his head ruefully. Hochschuler, you old wet prune, will you ever learn to smile? The Chancellor swiftly locked his arm around Michael's shoulders, turned 90 degrees, escorted him off the transport platform to the correct footbahn, and chided, "My dear foolish friend, will you ever learn protocol?" And he almost choked in his embarrassment. "Dignity, at least in public?" Michael laughed uproariously. Zig Heil, farthead, and with your associations, you're still insecure about the Gestapo, and at your age, what a tragedy. Michael, please.
Sig Heil, what?
Farthead. Zig
Farthead.
Heil, farthead. It was, yeah. With your associations, you are still insecure about the Gestapo, and at your age, what a tragedy. Michael, please. And so their conversation ran in their comfortably familiar manner all the while, until they were safely inside Hartmut's office. After the Chancellor had poured himself and his guest the finest schnapps in 17 galaxies, the two gentlemen touched the rims of the fine crystal together in a toast to der Führer. As they sipped their schnapps, they gazed quietly into the deep, gentle, fatherly, far-seeing eyes of the only true leader the Reich ever really had, Adolf Hitler. The three-dimensional photonic technology emanated more depth of character than if the great man were actually standing side by side with them in the study, or so the eggheads liked to believe. Michael sank down into a fine leather anti-graviton seat. Hartmut refilled the glasses and handed one to him. He then turned off the image generator of der Führer and proceeded to run an ancient counter-surveillance algorithm from underneath one of the most completely stocked bars in the Reich. The naive old man had no idea that his life had become so mundane and predictable that the Gestapo had stopped active surveillance on him more than 15 years before. Michael, on the other hand, as he savored his schnapps from the most comfortable seat in the study, and on Earth for that matter, was actually counting on that fact. He knew Hartmut well enough to suspect that his friend was indeed completely above or below suspicion. Hartmut sat down behind his desk with a tired sigh. The years of responsibility weighed heavily on him. Michael's cryptic message from the previous week did absolutely nothing to soothe his nerves. Plus, he was hardly unfamiliar with his guest. Michael was notorious as a freshman. Michael was notorious as a freshman. He'd already earned the reputation as an absolute supernova in both the fields of natural...
So, pause. If you're doing an audiobook, what you want to do is, if you are not happy with what you just said, pause for like just a
edit,
second.
Yeah.
And then they can do an edit.
Yeah.
And then start over.
I did Reading for the Blind when I was 20 for about 6 months.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But it's been a while. I forgot the technicalities. Pause. Say pause out loud. Yeah. Pause. Continue. Basically.
Yeah. You can even say pause.
Pause.
Hey, I screwed that up. Take it out.
Take it out.
Let me start over.
Yeah.
That's what I say. That's what I do.
Yeah. Back to
you gotta leave a little space.
I need a staple eater. Hang on just a second. I think this is thick enough. No. I think this is thick enough. I can just bend it.
No, I'll take it.
No, I got it. Hey, I'm an old staple. I'm an old staple hand from way back.
An old staple man.
I'm a gangster.
1976.
Staple gangster.
Hey, you were stapling in 1976.
I have a staple diet.
You're on a stable diet.
A staple diet
of staples.
Staples.
You're on a stable diet of
rice
staples.
Is a staple. Yeah.
And
you're trying to fucking staple something with rice.
You're on a stable diet of staples, living in a stable with fighting cocks.
Oh, I know. Okay. I forgot what I remembered. And I remember what I forgot. 1, 2, 3, banana. Pow. Okay, there's it.
Yeah, just Terry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. Did you print that or did
I did. It came from my 26-year-old HP printer, man.
Fuck. I didn't know that.
And it's on its last legs.
I renounce printers. I got a guy with $1 million printer that's 3 blocks away.
Yeah.
I emailed them. He's very happy to print whatever I send.
Has it got a laser? It's
NC prints on South Commerce. They got $1 million.
Oh wow. Printer. Okay. Oh. Cool.
Why am I printing on my shit that don't fucking work?
I need to run off another set of prophecy cards again. My calling card.
NC prints. They do business cards. They do 4-color work. They do everything.
Okay.
They got $1 million badass.
There we go.
Why am I printing shit?
Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
Pause over. Continuing with. Okay. Let me read the last paragraph. Okay. All right. Yeah, Hartmut sat down behind his desk with a tired sigh. The years of responsibility weighed heavily on him. Michael's cryptic message from the previous week did absolutely nothing to soothe his nerves. Plus, he was hardly unfamiliar with his guest. Michael was notorious as a freshman. He had already earned the reputation as an absolute supernova in both the fields of natural and theoretical physics while still in gymnasia, a shining enfant terrible, infant terrible, however one says that in French, research that. Hartmut had taken the younger Frosch under his wing while still a junior on a dare from his astronomy professor to make an honest attempt to mentor the whirligig. By the time Hartmut's junior year was completed, He had helped to borrow a short-run planetary cruiser by simply bypassing the quanta stabilizer. Obviously, Michael supplied the first round of brains on that particular job. So my old friend...
You've read way too much sci-fi.
Oh, yeah. No, my father was addicted to it, and I was reading by the age of 3 because they were all over the fucking house.
It's all Isaac Asimov.
Yeah, it's old school shit.
Heinlein, Asimov.
Yeah. James Blish.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
Not to interrupt.
Yeah. So my old friend, says Hartmut, why did you really come to see me today? Michael leaned so far forward in the anti-graviton seat that the chair groaned in Newtonian protest. As he stretched and set his empty glass down on Hartmut's desk, he grinned expressively and responded, as the old saying goes, I won't re-bomb London. I'll just get straight to reality. I'm now ready for you to fund my special project. My designs are finished, and all my preliminary tests are complete and satisfactory. I only need you to authorize the enhanced financing and funding for my department one final time. Hartmut exploded. You know as well as I do that I cannot just throw money at you without accounting for it to the government, especially not an exorbitant sum like this.
Right.
I know you're used to getting what you want, Michael, but there's absolutely no way this will happen. Hartmut, please, how long have we discussed this? I estimate we started 36 years ago. Last month, to be exact. You knew this day would come. It is today. And, my dear Chancellor, I brought something with me. I call it insurance. Michael, you worn me out so many times. I've always eventually provided you with exactly what you wanted. But if this is what I think it is, you've gone too far at last. What do you mean by insurance? Michael leaned forward slowly in the chair, the anti-gravitonics quietly compensating. Only the strong smell of leather convinced his senses that he was not blithely floating in a zero-gravity environment without physical support. He grinned tightly and reached into his tunic. He extended his hand toward Hartmut with his palm up. Insurance. Hartmut squinted at the 3 minuscule data seeds in Michael's hand. What do you have there? Proof. Proof of what? Proof of what, you asked? I think it's proof you finally blundered off into total insanity. Michael smiled at him again. It was not a pleasant smile. No, Muti. Proof of how you completed your undergraduate degree. Proof of my help. I recorded it for the student news as a lark. It was your senior year, second by second, sound by sound, and photon by photon.
Damn.
See? All 3 exams, just you and me. I believe that you, more than any other human being, understand the extensive measures I'm prepared to pursue to ensure that my project is fully completed. Nice. By Odin's beard, now that I know you have completely lost your mind, you're closer than a brother to me. I don't understand how you can even joke about such a thing.
Now you're rescuing Act 2 right
I
now.
would be ruined. My life would be devastated. This is no joke, Moody. This is your choice. You will take the risk of wrath from high command and tell these blind fools, yes.
Look, when you're writing, look at a page. If you don't see any quotation marks on the page, rewrite.
Oh, no, I've got them.
You want dialogue.
I've got them.
What you're doing, you went through a little bit of exposition for a while. My brain started to wander.
Yes.
In Act 2.
Yeah.
It's all about graviton. And
right. Well, the chair.
But you had to do the exposition.
Barbara helped me. Yeah.
To set this scene up.
Yeah, Barbara.
Now you're back into quotations.
Yeah.
And it flows. You can tell from your voice.
Yeah.
You're more activated.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, not to interrupt. I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah. And Barbara, my sister ripped the guts out of this thing to get me to flow it.
Okay.
Rather than to inform me to death. I don't want to inform you to death. Yeah. My sister has been teaching dyslexic kids and teaching English since 74.
I can tell.
Yeah.
This is a very well-written fucking story.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Barbara.
I'm going to be wandering a little bit, but
That's fine. That's fine.
But that
we
right
got
there
it there.
In. Yeah. I'm going to send that to Ann.
Oh, cool. All right.
And also John Rund, who leads our reading group.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay. This is no joke. Okay, if I would be ruined, my life would be devastated. This is no joke, Moody. This is your choice. You will take the You will take the risk of wrath from the
risk of wrath.
Risk of wrath. Yeah. Try saying that 6 times fast. Okay. This is no joke, Moody. This is your choice. You will take the risk of wrath from high command and tell those blind fools that this is the finest opportunity since the founding of the Reich for scientific advancement. So they might not only conquer space for their ideals, but the very spirit of time. Or I will show the entire empire that you are a completely incompetent ass, and you know that after that there would utterly be no hope for you to ever regain your honor or credibility.
Hey, Rabbi.
Yeah.
You might want to consider throwing some more Nazi in there.
We'll get there.
I'm forgetting that these are Nazis.
We'll get there. We have two starts.
You can't say Nazi too many times.
We'll get there. We'll get there. The cats are
Merely
the
making
important
an
part.
observation.
Right. The most important part of the story is the curiosity and the cats. We know about the Nazis when we get to 1938. I promise you.
And I'm willing to hang fire on the cat shit.
Okay.
But the more you can just say
Cat
Nazi
shit.
this,
Yeah.
Nazi that,
Well,
Nazi that.
the next page at the bottom is 18
Okay.
months later.
Okay.
Okay. What happens in 18 months? The machine's finished.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I show the entire empire that you're a completely incompetent ass, and you know that after that, there would be literally, utterly no hope for you to ever regain your honor or your credibility. But I will run my own private tests before I allow anyone from any branch of our government to even sniff in the direction of my project. You know my technical expertise better than anyone in the empire, and you know that I will be able to discern any spying or tampering. They must know without a shadow of any doubts that the instant I suspect duplicity on their part, I will and shall absolutely and utterly destroy the plans and the device. But Michael, Hartmut, the time has come. I can finally drill directly into the past, and I will meet and converse with a living rabbi. Oh, my dear Hartmut.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. You might not be aware of
This
these.
is the story, right? You just said what the story is
I'm
about.
setting you up for the story. Yeah.
That's the story
Yeah.
right there.
You might not be aware of these facts, Hartmut, but the only reason anything Jewish still exists is that the so-called Nazi Museum of Judaism was founded in 1906 by Jewish historians Dr. Hugo Lieben and Dr. Augustin Stein.
Those are real guys. Too,
Yes,
right?
yeah. And then in 1942, the blossoming SS instructed all the surviving Jewish communities to send the contents of their synagogues there.
Oh, God.
With few exceptions, Torah scrolls covered with gold and silver and ritual textiles were sent to Prague, along with hundreds of thousands of books. Artifacts were shipped to the museum from the Jewish communities and synagogues of Bohemia and Moravia. In fact, eventually all of Nazified Europe, North Africa, and eventually, finally, bloody Americas, in which the damn Jews had fully expected that place would be their final safe haven. Were they wrong, boy?
Were they wrong, boy?
But most
we
vitally,
fucked them too.
yeah, but most vitally, I wish to see and even meet with their Führer. I must. You and your brinksmanship, you and your obsessions, you and your ego. This is madness. No, Moody, this is genius. When I'm back from my little trip, a mere instant from your perspective, then they can take my field generators instead of all the swastikas they want. Hell, I'll even show them how to take National Socialism to the Cretaceous era if they wish. The fools draping Nazi banners over the backs of reptilian quadrupeds. Politics, idiots! At some point during his impassioned plea, Michael had come out of the Newtonian chair and propelled himself to the bar. He refilled Hartmut's and his own schnapps thrice. After the third shot had finally its intended medicinal effect, Michael was able to at last slowly inhale thrice through his nose,
Thrice.
and just as mindfully exhale
Let me
with an
guess,
extended
it's gonna be
sigh
like thrice
out
one
his
more time.
lips. Just as Hartmut had so very patiently and meticulously taught him during his first year at uni in Berlin almost 40 years before, that meditative technique had not only saved Michael's academic career, but Hartmut genuinely believed that it had saved Michael's very life.
Rabbi,
Yes.
if you're going to use the word thrice twice, you must use it a third time.
No. That's the difference.
That's the joke.
Yeah. Oh,
You're gonna
okay.
use the
That's
word
comedy.
Thrice.
Twice.
So add
Thrice.
that.
Twice. Yeah. Put that
Not
in my
twice,
pipe
but
and smoke it.
thrice.
Thrice. Yeah.
Okay, go.
Okay.
I'll send this to you too.
Okay. That meditative technique had not only saved Michael's academic career, but Hartmut genuinely.
Thrice.
Yeah.
Saved his academic career
Thrice.
There's your
hand
third
me,
thrice.
okay, hand me the pen. Pen?
Yeah,
one?
you can take that because I got it.
Right. No. Yeah. Okay, excellent. Oh, I got one hanging on my ass. There it is.
It's okay.
Cha-ching. Thrice.
Yeah, he saved his academic career
Thrice.
There's your third thrice.
Yeah.
This is songwriting more than.
Yeah.
This is songwriting.
But it's the rhythm. It's the lyrical
Jimmy
rhythm.
Buffett
Yeah.
is what it is.
That's all I need is this page. I'll take it home.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that meditative technique had not only saved Michael's academic career thrice, but Hartmut genuinely believed it had saved Michael's very life.
That's funny. That's going to make people laugh.
Yeah. Michael had come from a horribly abusive family. Great intellects, all, but without the slightest conception of human emotional reality and interplay on any relationship, at least on this planet. His father regularly, brutally beat him up. At the age of 9, as a permanently wistful-looking Michael does not perfectly recalling his multiplication tables that ran from 1 times 1 through 25 by 25, his brilliant Berliner of a British historian and gentlemanly father simply gave him a bloody good hiding to remind him of the debt he owed to the brilliant minds of his God-given parents.
Right.
And then, in addition, his own statuesque, lovely history of classical Greek theater professor, Mama, viciously slapped Michael into an unconscious state at 16.
Wow.
When after his cousin Bruno, 2 years his senior, innocently suggested they go see a newly released video drama that was from Aristarchus' prime with a group of nubile theater students that simply adored Big Bruno. Michael, although terrified, swallowed his fear and agreed to go, but only if Bruno had cleared the process with his parents, who were Bruno's Aunt Hilda and Uncle Victor. Bruno had lied to his aunt and uncle and later to Michael in abject self-defense. One must understand, Michael had his university entrance placement exams in the morning at 8 a.m. sharp.
Okay.
Hilda Gutluk was merely being both a responsible parent as well as a caring academic.
Right.
Hartmut Hochschuler sighed bitterly and crumpled surrender. All right, Michael, I'd rather take my chances with them than with you. You win. Quite the triumph of the will, eh, Moody? You will never call me that again, Herr Professor.
Who's going to get that joke?
Anybody who's ever been...
has read their history.
Read their history,
or
yeah.
watched movies.
And enjoyed Lenny...
Or been to film school.
Yeah. Lenny, what's her poodle? Yeah.
Lenny, what's her poodle?
Well, yeah.
That's funny. Call her that. Say, Lenny, what's her poodle?
Yeah.
Wassenpoodle.
Poodle. Quite the triumph of the will, eh, Moochie? You will never call me that again, Herr Professor Doctor. Certainly, Herr Chancellor.
Funny.
18 months later, Michael spent what he'd hoped to be his last sleepless night after 2 weeks of non-stop perfectionism on the calculations for his journey into the past. The day started with an absolutely magnificent sunrise. Michael at long last jumped out of bed. This date would surpass all scientific history. It's Saturday, the 18th of December, Reichjahr 955. Samstag, 18. December, RJ 955. 955. His first...
Oh, Rabbi.
Yeah. Ooh, water. Yes.
This story needs more bones.
Just let me finish.
Wait, I'm going to give you an idea.
I gotta go through. Let me finish it first, then edit. But this is as far as I can get. This is a treatment for a screenplay.
I'll write it down.
It's not a story. This is a treatment for a screenplay.
Okay, I'll write it down.
Do you know what a treatment is?
No, because you got all these quotation marks, you can make a screenplay out of it. Screenplays aren't exposition. Screenplays are quotes.
Right. The treatment is a synopsis including that. Yeah. 18 months later. Okay, so this is my birthday, December 18th.
Okay. I wondered what that day
was. 18
18
months later, December 18th, 955. I'm 1955, so this is December 18th, 955. So we're 955 years into the 1,000-year Reich. Got it? Mm-hmm. So we're almost at the end of the 1,000-year Reich, if you think about it logically. His first real dilemma had been determining just exactly when he would prefer to visit those formative years of the Reich. Those horrible times after the wretched humiliation of Germany by the terms of the 1918-19 ceasefire and treaty before the so-called Great War came to a shuddering halt. Depressing but informative. Versailles. The very word tasted bitter on his tongue. Michael also had carefully to consider not arriving too late into the season of the anti-Jewish legislation enacted by Reichstag beginning in 1933. As he certainly didn't wish to attempt to meet his first living, breathing Jew after they had already been herded into the ghettos and shipped off to labor and death camps. He rather selfishly figured out that in all probability any surviving Jew at that point would probably be reasonably loath to speak with him in any objective manner. After quite a bit of contemplation, he decided that his desire to see Albert Speer's Cathedral of Light at the 1937 Nazi Party Congress would allow him the best of both worlds, and would provide him with the most opportune time to actually see the Führer during one of the most exhilarating moments at the birth of the Reich.
Wow.
Like all the other annual rallies, this one was held in the ancient city of Nuremberg. On the 6th of September 1937, the 9th Nazi Party Congress opened its day of greeting with a reception and press conference for Adolf Hitler at Nuremberg City Hall. This particular Congress was called the Rally of Labor because it celebrated the reduction of unemployment in Germany since the Nazi rise to power. Michael had researched the incredible Cathedral of Light. 152 aircraft searchlights cast their vertical beams into the sky around the Zeppelin field to symbolize the walls of a building. These awesome walls of light merged into the general glow of the atmosphere at an estimated height of 25,000 feet.
You know what you're talking about.
Air Marshal Hermann Goering protested vociferously at the use of roughly 89% of all the anti-aircraft searchlights in Germany
nobody knows that.
for this auspicious occasion. More than the remaining 11% were still available might be needed in case of Germany's enemies tried to do something unexpected or stupid. It is said that Hitler laughed raucously when notified of this dreaded possibility.
Raucously.
He is remarked to have said, "If the French or the English see that we're using more than 150 lights just to glorify the Nazi Party, they might easily assume we have thousands of lights with which to catch their silly little gnats in our night sky." Needless to say, Herman...
Best line in the story. So.
Yeah, thank you. Needless to say, Herman acquiesced. Michael feverishly went over the schedule of the Congress and simultaneously compared it with the Jewish festivals of the same years.
You don't have second act slump.
I don't have what?
You don't have second act slump.
Oh, no, I don't. Secondhand slump?
You had to do a little exposition for a minute.
Okay.
But then you got right back
in. Boom, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, because I learned from Barbara, don't bore them with facts. Keep the story moving with your people.
But no,
we love your people.
The facts are the funny part.
Yeah. And their irony, the facts.
I mean, the weird shit about the anti-aircraft lights. Nobody fucking knows about that.
Yeah, and those are the punchlines.
Right, those are the punchlines.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're having Hitler talk now is even funnier.
Yeah. So we got Nazis.
Raucously.
And we don't have Nazis that are the cartoon cutout bad guys. They're funky.
Now, I'm not going to tell you how to write. This is your voice. You'll never hear me tell you how to write. Mm-hmm. I would have written that line differently, but I like the way you wrote it.
Thank you. Yeah.
You got your own voice.
Yeah.
As a writer, the main thing you fucking want is a voice.
A voice,
so that if I read one sentence out of context, I'm like, oh, Rabbi wrote that.
Yeah.
Now, RW has a very strong fucking voice.
Yeah.
You read anything I ever read.
When I read...
You can tell right away, oh, that's RW.
That's RW, yeah. Okay, needless to say, Herman acquiesced. Okay, Michael feverishly went over the schedule of the Congress and simultaneously compared it with the Jewish festivals in the same year. The Congress began on Monday, September 6th, and concluded on Monday, September 13th. Of course, Michael thought it was merely coincidence, but as the most brilliant theoretical physicist since Albert Einstein, and into his 18th year of being the rabbi, he should have known better. This is because that same week of September 1937 coincided with the Jewish high holidays. The inaugural evening of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year.
I love how they're so obsessed with the Jews, man. They already killed them all, and they just can't get over it.
That's right. We might as well be Jews. Might as well be a rabbi.
Might as well be goddamn Jews. Pretty much where this is going, right?
Yeah. I like
it's funny.
Right? Yeah.
You kind of want a story where about in the middle of the second act, you go, I think I know where this is going. That weirdo.
Yeah. Weirdo. I like that's what Sochi calls me. I said, I'm not weird, I'm crazy. Weird people are born that way. They can't help it. Crazy takes practice.
Crazy takes practice.
Keep practicing.
Very true.
In Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year was at sundown Sunday, the 5th. Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, had begun at sundown Tuesday, September 14th, which was the first day after the 37 Party Congress had concluded. He did his best to find a compromise between the better of these two diametrically opposed worlds, the splendor of the Jewish days of awe and the majesty of der Führer. Michael opted for the most selfish of all choices. He was going to go to the rally on the very last day, the day before Yom Kippur. This way, he could get maximum amount of Nazi pomp and circumstance coupled with the maximum amount of Jewish content. Thus, Michael determined that his D-Day was to be Monday, September 13, 1937. The party had also determined that date to be celebrated as Day of the Armed Forces. Hitler was not just featured as the guest speaker that day, He actually opened the ceremonies in the morning, and he presided over the closing of the Week of Glory that night with a series of speeches. Rapture! Oh, during the course of the next day, Der Fuhrer reviewed the army and their blitzkrieg maneuvers from the comfort and eagle-eyed perspective granted to him from his uniquely constructed observation platform in the airship Zeppelinweise. Seated with him in the Zeppelin was Prince Chichabu, the brother of the Emperor of Japan. And after the sun had set in the west over what would soon be Nazi Europe, Der Fuhrer was again the guest speaker, but this time from within the sparkling Cathedral of Light. Of course, Michael's plans were to attend synagogue for the Day of Atonement afterwards. Naturally, he was completely oblivious to the height, depth, and breadth of this irony. As much as he hated to be a co-conspirator, Hartmut eventually understood that he really had no choice but to help Michael obtain all the accoutrement required for a journey such as this. Because of his position as intergalactic chancellor of German academia, he could literally requisition anything that might be either needed or wanted by his flummoxing friend. By the time Herr Professor Doctor had outlined all the details to him and presented each and every request for material, Herr Chancellor was completely mesmerized and had become just as enthralled with the project and its goals as Michael. As a result, Muti had grudgingly become friends again with Michael. Hartmut was able to procure the correct currency, quite a bit of it at that. He was able to get his hands on 7,500 Reichsmarks, all of them perfectly preserved, as good as new. They were issued in 1936, denominations of 10s and 20s, 50s, 100s, and 1000s.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
You know what's really working for you right now?
Yeah.
It's a lot of exposition.
Yes.
For me.
Mm-hmm.
More into
because forget the treatment. This is what we're going to see. This is what the camera's looking at.
What's working for you is the detail.
Yeah.
The attention to detail of 10,
I researched the motherfucking shit out of this thing.
20 marks is brilliant.
Yeah.
That's what's carrying you right now, because you got to get all this exposition to set up what's happening next.
Yeah.
What you're doing is, with all this little historical detail that feels very real to me, I have to look it up.
Yeah.
But I just believe
it. It's fact. Ironically enough, it's fact.
But the fact that you set me up with the fucking anti-aircraft lights at Nuremberg, once you say that, I'm like, okay, this fucker knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I ain't Googling anything.
I Googled that, and fuck, there it is. 152.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
What's making your exposition work?
That's why I love Isaac Asimov, because it was science fiction, but it was science. Science first, fiction second. Yeah.
Okay.
Not
to interrupt, but I'm trying to encourage you.
Thank you. Yo, you are. I'm getting a hard on.
One writer to another.
Yeah, I'm getting a mental and an emotional hard on from this.
Well, all I can tell you right now is write some more shit.
Yeah, I am.
I don't care what it is.
Yeah. I got 5 more movies in my
lyrics,
head. I've got everything. Yeah.
I used to write my screenplays on text edit, which is the shit that comes with your computer.
Right.
That's
the one that I think you're going to enjoy the most, which is the one that I originally conceived of in 1988, first time I was hospitalized at a psych hospital, is my thing that's, the subtitle is 30 Days in a Psychiatric Hospital.
Perfect.
Do you know what the title of it is?
What?
The Foreskin of God.
Okay.
Okay, all right. There we go. Okay, yeah. 50s, 100s, and 1000s were gingerly placed into a fine antique leather wallet of the era, replete with solid gold, iron cross inlaid with a platinum swastika attached to the front of the pouch.
Platinum swastika?
Yes, buddy. Michael had decided that it would be wise to avoid any bureaucratic embarrassments or impediments, so he had the High Chancellor obtain the uniform of a High Colonel in the Gestapo for him to wear during his jaunt. It might be off-putting to any Jew he might encounter, but prudence had to override etiquette from time to time.
Aha.
It had been difficult.
Did you write that line?
Yeah, this is me. It's all me.
No, that's your voice right there.
Yeah.
Prudence had to
override.
What?
Yeah, prudence had to override etiquette from time to time.
That's
me.
That's Jane Austen.
Is it?
Yeah.
Whoa, fuck yeah. Wow, that's just, whoa, man. That's
when you're really
school.
writing.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're Jane Austen. You say shit like that.
Yeah.
That's called.
Or Emily Dickinson.
Sure,
man,
it's actually more Emily Dickinson.
Yeah. Because the irony is so heavy.
No, you're saying some heavy shit and trying to teach people something. You're trying to do a midrash.
Yeah. Exactly. Why life is midrashim. And then filling people with the spirit.
But Anne is
love,
midrash
truth. Yeah.
So I got that right?
Yes. Say it again.
Midrashot.
Midrashot. No. The midrash is a male word. The word midrash is a masculine word. Midrashim,
So
always.
What?
She's no. For midrash is a midrash. That's like the word
Man or
boat.
woman.
A boat is always a she. It's never a he. Okay, it's how words have gender in certain languages.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. It drives me
And
crazy.
we lost it here.
I hate that
We don't
shit.
do that anymore.
Forks are male and spoons are
Spoons
female.
are female, of course. Yeah. Okay. So, Michael had decided. Okay, a uniform of high colonel. It might be off-putting. There we go. It might be off-putting to any Jew he might encounter, but prudence had to override etiquette from time to time. It had been difficult to choose which modes of ancient transportation to utilize while he was visiting that era, but the temptation to drive an automobile, specifically a Volkswagen, at unlimited speeds along the Autobahn completely ran over good judgment.
Now we're into your voice.
Yeah.
That's your voice
That's
right
me.
there.
I'm going to throw puns at your head. You should
Absolutely.
say uncle. He studied maps of the day and determined it was roughly 5 hours from Berlin to Nuremberg. This was ideal for him because it would allow him to stay until the very end of the Congress.
And people eat shit like that up. They want to know details.
Grab
of the
some well-deserved rest, well-needed rest, drive back to Berlin, and still have time to make it to the synagogue before Kol Nidre at sundown.
Oh my God.
Hartmut arrived at Michael's flat, the top suite of a 300-story faculty residence in Berlin. In reality, Michael actually owned the entire top 7 floors of the building.
Now we're getting somewhere.
And an architect had followed his instructions explicitly.
Mm-hmm.
This arrangement allowed him sumptuous room for his living quarters, the entertainment areas, the private lecture halls, and most importantly, the thousands of square feet in which he had had patiently constructed his secret private laboratories over the years.
Oh my God.
The piece de resistance was the 2,500 square foot temporal field generators,
Holy shit.
the tunneling device. It struck Hartmut as rather anticlimactic that the portal itself was an antique wooden lectern, yet it tickled his pedagogical fancy just as much as it did his friends. It took less than 30 minutes for Michael to change into the Gestapo uniform and load his pockets with the sundry items that he would use during his vacation. He made sure to take along an extremely unobtrusive audio-video recorder, as well as the obvious articles one would take on any week-long getaway, like changes of underwear, etc. Okay, you with me? For the next
Laugh
hour...
break. Laugh break.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, in the movie, we could have Hartmut saying, no, not the pink.
The movie's totally different.
Yeah, not the pink underwear, just white. For Christ's sake, you're going to 1937 Germany.
Now, what I can do, if you wish, is go on Austin Facebook screenwriter story.
Oh my God.
And say can
here's the
somebody
treatment.
please convert this into a screenplay?
Right, but the first
you
thing...
can't do it.
No,
You're
I don't know
wrapped up
how.
in the exposition.
Yeah.
You need a
I don't know
fresh
how.
set of eyes.
But the main thing is,
to
let me
make
get
a
it
screenplay.
copyright. Let me get copyright first, and then we'll do it. You know why? Because that's what I did with my
It's
poetry.
$130.
Yeah. And then I'll get copyright and trademark.
You just got to figure out that fucking website, which sucks.
What
The
website?
U.S. Copyright Office.
Oh no, I've already started.
Okay, well if you can't
I
do
think
it,
I finished.
if
I
you
haven't
can't
paid
do
him
it,
yet.
My lawyer can do it for $200.
Yeah, okay.
I'd rather pay him.
No, I actually
I
went
can't
to the
figure that
Library of
website
Congress website, and all I have to do is
Library
send
of
them the
Congress.
money. I've already.
Got it. It's
Yeah,
$130
I have to
or
upload this and do the money.
At $130.
I had to wait till payday, which was
I'd
yesterday.
rather pay my lawyer the $200 and have him do it.
Not
Because
yesterday.
then guess what?
Friday. What?
If somebody fucks with me, then I got this nasty pit bull lawyer
Yeah.
to just
Excuse
bring
me.
down the hate.
Yeah, excuse me. Do you mind if I finish fucking your ass
Google my
now or
lawyer's
later?
name. Google
Yeah.
my lawyer's name
Okay.
sometime and you're like, never mind.
Never call. Better
Sorry.
call Saul. Yeah.
Gotta go.
Here we go. Okay, so
go. So I didn't interrupt.
For the next hour and a half, Michael drilled Hartmut relentlessly with the instructions regarding the procedure that would manually send him off into the past and retrieve him back to the present. And for the 12th time, Michael grunted in irritation and grumbled, Yeah, I know you would feel more comfortable if I simply let the computer control my departure and arrival. But Moochie, by the hammer of Thor, where's your sense of adventure? Where's your sense of history? Besides, you don't want just me to become famous for this incredible achievement, do you? This will assure you a place not only in the history of the Reich, but it will make you High Chancellor for life. Thus, this will assure you a place not only in history. Surely you've suspected the fact that I've programmed this unparalleled triumph to be broadcast in all real time through the galaxies via all the social media? The High Chancellor looked at the genius blearily, sighed deeply, and acquiesced again. Herr Professor Michael Goodlook took his place behind the lectern, winked humorously at his dearest friend, and enthusiastically yelped at him, "Jetzt, Mutti, now Hartmut, flip the green toggle." In that split second, as Chancellor Hochschuler moved his thumb, a million things seemed to happen at once. The massive field generators kicked into action, and all quanta in the target zone reverted back into their component strings, which then vibrated into their inverse configurations. Michael's eyes shone out as brightly as the rising sun as he faded out of his temporal existence, and the reinforced wall 7 feet directly behind the High Chancellor was destroyed without a sound by the weapons of 3 high-ranking Gestapo agents, and then 3 neural restraining devices slammed into the base of poor Hartmut's skull. While the High Chancellor was soundlessly slumping to the floor, 4 little tiny red LEDs next to the red toggle began their 18-second countdown, totally and completely ignored. A few minutes later, the Gestapo agents revived the spent Chancellor. As they dragged him away from the control pads, he loudly and continuously screeched that they needed to let him finish his work at the console. Of course, they were oblivious of the fact that an automated temporal retrieval was no longer possible by then, so they ignored his protests. Only a manual real-time action might suffice, and that was now statistically highly improbable. The senior agent then read the charges to the soon-to-be ex-chancellor. They were abuse of university funding and conspiracy to commit high treason. Hochschuler asked if they were serious. Had they even noticed his innocent behavior? No, they grimly stated. They certainly hadn't noticed Hartmut's behavior, but they certainly had been awfully close tabs on Michael's. The SS vehicle doors slammed shut. The electric vehicle accelerated and sped toward the ancient Spandau prison. Poor Hartmut. End of chapter 1. End of Act 2.
Let's stop.
Look, illustration.
Let's stop.
You like it?
I am into it.
Hitler?
I think we need that
Goebbels and Herod.
It's public domain.
Yeah. What?
You can use it.
Yes, yeah, no, I'm just saying.
I know.
That when I was conceiving this as a book.
I'm hooked.
Yeah, okay.
I'm into it. I'm just drunk.
Yeah. And it's 2:51.
You got to go home.
Yeah. I got to take this one page with the
and
notes.
I have 2 comments. You want to hear them?
Please. Yeah. Always notes. Yeah.
Wait, let's breathe. Let's do 4, 5, 7.
Yeah. I got to go smoke a vape. I'm out of smoke.
Okay,
I'm out of
let's
cigarettes.
go vape.
Yeah. I'm out of cigarettes, but let's go vape.
Do I have any cigarettes? Let me look and see if
I'll
I
take
have
anything,
cigarettes.
man.
Let's see what I got.
Anything.
You can always dip. Have you ever dipped before?
No, I tried once and I puked.
Well,
yeah, I have a sensitive tummy and throat.
Absolutely. Everybody pukes the first time. And it's like, no, you're a man.
That's what they said to me about masturbation, and it didn't work all that well.
Yeah, look what I had a black friend come stay with me. And
Oh my God, I got Newport fucking hell shorts.
Hell yeah.
Well, do you know
South Oak Hill, bitch. South Oak Hill.
Do you know who smokes these? Is my friend Jordan.
Is he black?
No, she's a cutest little blonde, 5'3" blonde, the one that I smoked.
I dedicate tonight to Reno Sparks.
Reno Sparks. Fuck yeah.